Hello everybody, welcome back to the Strodelive interview series. Today is episode 3 and I am accompanied by the wonderful Jake McSweeney.
How you doing, man?
It's a bit like,
it's weird being sat here, man, because
it's weird.
I'm usually in that seat.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's strange, because I can usually direct the topic of conversation where I want it to go and kind of shape how it's going to end up, but I am completely out of control right now.
Completely, you're mine. So basically, you have released a project called Cities Without People. It's a 3-song EP.
Yep.
And it's really, really interesting, kind of, like different people that you work with on that one. Tell me a little bit about that. Tell me a little bit about like the sort of process, sort of, the favourite bits and pieces about, you working on the EP and stuff like that. Just some stuff that you really enjoyed, because that's one of the big things that will come out this year, innit?
Yeah, the process was interesting because I started off being not very confident at all with recording and the process of actually creating a project, because that was one of my big issues. My communication wasn't where it needed to be. I didn't have the experience in the studio, but over the course of the project, I feel like I got quite confident with, recording for other people, tracking different instruments, setting up for different instruments, talking to different people, and sort of making everything fit together.
Yeah.
And that's something I really struggled with at the very beginning. You'll attest to this. I wasn't particularly easy to work with at the beginning. Because
awful. I'm joking.
Opening track, we have Runaway, which you're on.
Yeah.
And I had an absolute nightmare trying to record that.
It's alright. It's just like, I feel like it's all part and parcel of the fun of making music, isn't it?
I do agree. But I didn't really know how to record drums at all, I'll be honest. And we had lots of issues with miking them up in different ways across different takes and things like that, and it was complicated trying to get a take that sounded right and was on tempo and was all of that. And that's nothing to do with Max. Like, Max is an amazing drummer, but the issue that I had was the recording side of it.
Yeah. Fair play. So I guess what I really want to know is which song was the best.
I'd say that Shoreline probably turned out the best. Because it was in the works for so long, and it everything just seemed to gel quite well. In the sense that having, two vocal takes that were recorded in a very similar way, it took like a year to get sorted.
No, fair. That's fair. Yeah. That is fair.
It took a really long time to get done, and I'm proud of it.
It's a very, very, very lovely song. We have that one in the actual paper recently. Strodelive 2022 album was in a press release, and that was one of the ones that were mentioned, sort of on the front pages.
How did it describe you again?
Oh,
it came up with something quite interesting.
I'm not sure. I'll put it up on the screen or something like that. But like, I can't quote that. That's cringe. I can't do it.
Not that's why I'm making you do
cringe,
it, mate.
But I can't say it was like a powerful and emotional performance.
Yeah, so if you attribute that to yourself, I was like, you're now the enemy of everyone.
I wrote that. But that was nice. It also said it was a beautiful duet, which was lovely. For working with two vocalists, Georgia and Gus, like two completely different voices and everything. Like, I guess that was quite.
Like they gelled really well.
Yeah. I guess it's kind of fun, like mucking about with that, trying to get him to fit and that kind of thing. Yeah. That's awesome. That's really, really cool. So, I suppose my next question I'd like to ask you is a little bit about the sort of the style of your guitar playing, because one of the first things a lot of people notice about you is you have a very nuanced kind of style to your playing.
It is kind of strange.
It's it's very kind of like, you know, you take elements of jazz, you know, sort of, you know, very soulful, bluesy sort of elements. You sort of incorporate it all together in your music.
Yeah.
So I wonder if you could sort of tell me about that, like guitar influences, who you sort of look up to, and that kind of thing. So I think that's really interesting. You sort of are very sort of, you know, diverse in that sort of place.
Yeah, so I originally picked up the guitar when I was 7, but I quit after a couple of years. I never even learned how to play a chord. I was just sort of messing around and playing certain things.
Right.
But when I picked it back up again, bit cringe, but Ed Sheeran inspired me to like actually pick up a guitar again.
Yeah, fair.
I learned a lot of his work, and that's really good for like the basics of like learning chords and things like that.
Yeah.
And then I found John Mayer, and that's a level that I'm never going to be able to live up to. So I can learn his stuff forever. I'm good there.
We all found John Mayer, and our lives changed forever for the worse, because we realised he was just.
We realised, I'm never going to reach that. But yeah, he's just a really, really excellent kind of the way he blends blues and pop and loads of different genres together in his guitar playing. That's something that I want to get on the level of. Obviously, Jimi Hendrix, like, he's just an absolute titan when it comes to music.
Yeah.
His influence cannot be overstated.
Yeah,
like,
no, I agree.
Without him, there's no way that any of us would be playing the stuff that we're currently playing on guitar. So he's obviously going to be a huge one. And then there's people like Tim Henson and Ichikanito, guys that have sort of come from the internet playing this really technical style of guitar that I've been trying desperately to learn. And I'm kind of getting there with it, but in failing to sound like them, I've kind of got my own style a bit more. Right. Which I'm finding quite nice.
Yeah. No, I got to say, one of the very first people I compared you to was Ichikanito.
Yeah.
You're very kind of incorporating all the tapping, kind of really interesting uses of harmonics. I think that's just really, really cool. I think that's just something that a lot of people sort of pick up about your playing. Just very
really appreciate
nuanced.
That, man.
Very cool. Yeah, very, very cool. So I guess kind of sort of where I want to take the interview a little bit is sort of like your sort of experience with sort of songwriting. So I suppose it's one thing to sort of work on, you know, your own individual sort of instrumentation. You know, you also play keyboard as well. You're fantastic at that. But you know, not just your EP. We've also sort of realised that you have a very you know, good appetite for, you know, working with different people. You know, you've been working with a lot of different people. Like, I remember in the first year working with people like Abby, for example.
Yeah, Abby Jameson's on the album as well.
Exactly.
Not the album, EP, but yeah.
But yeah, you just seem to really get along with people, and I manage. You do work with people really, really well, and sort of I was just wondering how that you know, the interest in that kind of started, like, as opposed to sort of you know you didn't want to do your own thing, you wanted to use other people as sort of like get bits and pieces off of.
That kind of evolved out of necessity more than anything else, because I'm not a singer. My own parents, bless them, they even said I couldn't sing, and that has kind of held me back a bit in my music. So working with other people as much as possible has been, you know, really useful for me there. But I really enjoy the process of working with people as well, meeting new people, new personalities, and kind of, you know, building from there. And both having a collective vision towards something. Yeah,
no, I get that. It's like, it's kind of like you're using other people as your fuel, your sort of motivation to sort of keep you going. I feel like when it's kind of, I suppose when you're working by yourself all the time, like, you kind of like lose steam because you've got to constantly self-motivate, constantly self-do it. But I suppose when you meet other people who you're working on different kind of things, you know, you kind of, I don't know, you just get inspired, you know. I think that's really, really cool. I think that's really, really cool. So a little bit sort of more on that, I suppose. We all know that you're going to be going to BIM next year.
I'm looking forward to that.
You've been very excited about that.
Yeah.
It sounds really, really good. It sounds like the best place for you.
Yeah.
I was sort of wondering about sort of, you know, your thoughts on the sort of near future, you know, what we can sort of expect from you in the sort of coming years and things like that, and you know, the near future. What are sort of the plans?
So first of all, we've got a band release. Think about it later. We're performing on the 13th. We're closing the show, so everyone make sure to come and see us perform there.
We are indeed. We are indeed.
Following that, at BIM, I just want to collaborate with as many people as I possibly can, and sort of get to be a part of a community of people that are all helping each other, and all learning from one another, and sort of building something, not just for ourselves, but like as a group of people.
Right.
So that then we can make it to Bristol and just completely take over. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
If really possible, I'd love to get as many songs out as possible, make as much content, as much stuff like this as I possibly can. Like, brilliant. Just get involved in every element of the industry.
Yes, as
much as possible, and just learn.
Yeah, I suppose there's so much to do, isn't there? You know, I suppose sometimes we limit ourselves to thinking, you know, I only slot in one places, but it sounds like you really want to get out there and find all the different sort of little jobs that you can get up to.
It's weird because I feel like once you dedicate yourself to one thing and work so hard at one thing to the point where you get reasonably good at it, you're more confident in thinking like, oh, I've seen this other thing that I want to do. I could go do that, and I know I can dedicate myself to something and build something for myself. And if you transfer that work ethic across to the other thing, you feel confident that you can get it done.
No, that sounds like a really, really good mindset to have. Really, really good. Another other thing that I really wanted to ask you about was kind of your live performance as well, because as much as everybody knows, you know, you sort of get involved behind the scenes. You know, you've taken a very big role in sort of marketing events, sort of, you know, doing all the really important jobs behind the scenes. But we all know that you're very competent when you actually play live too. You know, sort of some sort of solos and work that you've done with bands before has been absolutely immense. So, sort of tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about your background in that. Are you new to live performance? Have you done quite a bit of it?
It's funny you asked that question, because, like, I kind of was expecting you to ask that, because it's almost as if you just asked it a minute ago and the camera stopped working.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Yeah. Had some issues there. I don't have a huge amount of background. I did quite a lot for my school. I organised an event with one of my friends at the school and presented all of that. So that's my background in like management and organising a team of people for an event and things like that. But performance-wise, I've done a few, but not a great deal. But I just want to do as much as I can moving forward, because it is my favourite thing to do. Yeah. Like I've never felt more alive than when I'm on a stage. Right. I'm incredibly nervous. I'm a wreck beforehand, but afterwards, when I do get on stage, I'm still nervous, obviously, but I have a sense of purpose. Right. It feels like it's what I'm supposed to be doing, and I just want to fulfill that as much as I possibly can. Because you know, something that I have heard, you know, when people sort of talk about you playing live, is you do look like you are sort of in your zone, in your own sort of little kind of world, getting sort of lost in what you're doing. I am kind of locked in, Especially when you sort of play keyboard as well. You have a very sort of, you know, I'm just swaying. Yeah, you have a very you know, when you're accompanying someone, like you have done in the past, you have this tendency to sort of get really sort of lost in what you're doing. I think people appreciate that. I think people do. Yeah. I think that does add a lot to what you do. So it's really good to have all these different, you know, sort of things in your sort of arsenal to sort of bring to the table as a musician, and also as someone who works behind the scenes. So it's really, really good. Music thing. In an ideal world, in sort of 20, 30 years, where would you like to be? What would you like to look back and go, this was me, this is the highlight of my sort of thing? Are there any things on your bucket list with regards to music that you are desperate to leave behind? Or I just want to look back and know that I couldn't have done any more. Right. Yeah. I just want to be able to genuinely look myself in the mirror and go, I gave it everything I had, and I took every opportunity presented to me and worked as hard as I could, because only I'm gonna know that. You can fake everything to everyone, like, all the time, and you can get away with it. People will believe you, but you know in your heart what you gave to this game and what you tried to do, how much you put into it. I just want to look back and know that I gave it absolutely everything I had. I'd also love to have, like, one piece of music that is looked back on as the pinnacle of my career. Like,
Right.
I want to reach a level with just one specific song that people can look back on and just go, like, that is incredible.
Yeah.
I want to make a piece of real artwork at some point.
Yeah. I suppose it's like, you know, with the amount of people that you're going to work
Yeah.
with, the amount of people that you're already working with, you know, there's so much opportunity for that to happen, and we'll all be rooting for you and that. We'll all be checking out what you're doing for sure, even after Strode.
Much appreciated, man.
So yeah, that sounds really, really awesome. That sounds brilliant. And we all can't wait to sort of hear you play on the 13th.
I appreciate it.
Make sure you all come down, 7
Everyone
p.m.
come to the event.
at the Victoria Club. Be there. It's going to be really, really good. And yeah, that's been it's been amazing talking to you. Thank you so much for letting me be the interviewer this time. So yes, this was the Strodelive interview series. We will see you at 7 p.m. on the 13th of May at the Victoria Club. Bye bye.
See you guys there. Goodbye.
7
Everyone
p.m.
come to the event.
at the